Thanks for coming by, everybody. Hope you can all hear me just fine. I am Dean Takahashi. I'm the lead writer for GamesBeat at VentureBeat, and I've been covering VR ever since I saw Palmer Luckey and a few folks at a table. I think it was at an early CES, and I've also been covering games for about 24 years and covering tech in general for about 30 years. So happy to be here. We also do our own events. We've got the Metaverse event coming up on January 27th. It's going to be a virtual event, and you can find out more about that on venturebeat.com, which is what I read for. Gamesbeat.com is also our site. And I'd like to welcome our panelists. Jeremy, do you want to just introduce yourself again as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Dean, for moderating the panel. My name is Jeremy Lam. I'm founder and CEO of Virtual World Arcade. We work on this conference and VR platform as well. But today I'm speaking as an indie dev on the project Ryori. It's a VR monster battle card game. We have a tournament coming up tomorrow, so if you want to join, just hop over to our expo booth, click on the Discord invite link, and join our Discord. But yeah, that's who I am.
Great. And Michael, would you like to introduce yourself as well?
Yeah, sure. I'm Michael Stauffer. I'm the founder and developer at Bismu. We're working on a VR rhythm game, Groove Catcher. It's in the vein of sort of
Beat Saber.
I'm working on the name right now. Yeah, Beat Saber.
Beat Saber.
But Beat Saber with flowing, so it's more like Audio Trip or Synth Riders. Although we have our own angle on it, we have a very flowing experience. And so I've been a long-time software developer, but I'm new to gaming. So I started this project almost 3 years ago, and trying to get it finished enough to put it out there, really, and exploring some other options on the side, which sometimes might be interesting for indie developers.
Cool. And we have one more panelist, Isaiah Johnson. I think he's still logging in, but anyway.
Actually, if I may interject, Bernice up front.
Hello.
Do you want to speak on behalf of Isaiah, since you're on the team? Just real quick,
yeah, I'm on the team. Sure, I can introduce our team, but it's obviously better if Isaiah talks.
Yeah, come on up. I think Isaiah's still getting on. Yeah.
Okay. Hello, everybody. So I'm not Isaiah, obviously. My name is Bernice, but I do work with Isaiah. I am the lead programmer in our game. Right now, the working title is Typo Trauma. And it's an RPG where you learn things like empathy, communication skills, know how to handle tough social situations, and things like that. So that's what our game is about. But overall, Project Beanstalk is an indie game dev company, but we also care about doing social good and social impact. So yeah, that's the introduction.
Cool. How many people are on your team, and how long have you guys been working on it?
So I guess it goes like from right to left, from that side to here.
Oh, I was directing that at you, just since you had just finished talking. I'm sorry, I didn't hear your name. Sorry.
Oh yeah, my name is Bernice. Yeah.
Bernice.
Is it written up there? Is my name up there?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, on your name tag, yeah.
Okay, cool. Yes. So we've been working on this game since March. That's when Isaiah told me about the idea of the game. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like, people, it's an essential skill for people to learn empathy, communication skills, and things like that. And I think it's not really taught in schools, especially like how to handle negative situations, because there's a way to navigate those things without making stuff worse. And there's a way to, like navigate those things while, that's the reason why I joined. But I'm the programmer. We in the beginning we had 2 narrative designers, 1 concept artist, and that person volunteered to be the 3D modelers. I'm like, oh, thank goodness, I can delegate that, because like if not for him, I would have been doing the 3D modeling. I'm like, I don't know when we will finish this game. We have one musician, and then Isaiah is basically like the Nick Fury of our game, because he's the one who like brought us all together. Like he has his own skills, which is project management, product management, and doing all of the managerial stuff to basically like assist all of us. I said we had two narrative designers because one of them um, found a better opportunity and quit, and it was due to being in our game. They're like, oh, we saw your work in this game, we would like to hire you, so congratulations to him. But we have another narrative designer, and they are so yeah, we have two again. And very recently in September, we have a new programmer. So yay, I'm not by
Yay.
myself, and it's not difficult anymore.
Woo.
Yeah, so yeah,
10
like I guess
people-ish.
like total, yeah, around that amount.
And I guess our panel is life of an indie VR game dev. And say, Michael, I wonder if you have some tips about how to get started and how you guys got started.
Oh,
Pass along. That's a learning.
yeah, sure. I mean, I was in a somewhat unusual situation that I'm a longtime software developer. I mean, I'm older. I've been developing software for over 20 years, and so I got into gaming development. I was able to had a chance through my work to go back to grad school and started the game development program there, a master's program, which really got me to focus on the game development skills because I wasn't doing so much of my own on the side. Someone's got a lot of noise in their microphone. So, but otherwise, when you're, if you're starting any kind of, if you want to do the software side of things, development side, there's incredible tools online now. Unity is a easy platform to start with. A lot of you have probably heard of that. And you can go through Unity tutorials and their online training materials, and really do a lot if you have the self-motivation to stick with that. And then, of course, joining, if there's any kind of groups now, so they're all going to be online, but when we're past COVID, if you can join a local group of developers where you can meet up with people, either in person or online, you can learn a lot that way and get some good camaraderie, meet people who have skills to complement you, and jump into any kind of project that someone will have you work on. If it's a game jam, or if it's a open project for people to contribute to, you can learn a lot just by working on somebody else's project and contributing to that in any way that you can.
Cool. We had two Jeremys here for just 1 second, and Jeremy, what's your journey been like as a game dev? And can you hear me, Jeremy?
I think Jeremy's gone off into the audience. We probably can't hear him.
Okay. Well, let's
I think there's a cone
pass
of
it back
silence in there.
pass this one back to Bernice. And Bernice, do you have some tips to offer as well about getting started as a
About
game
getting
dev?
started, have savings because in the beginning it doesn't pay. That's one. The other one is it's work on a project that you're really interested in, because it's very difficult, and if you're not interested, then you'll soon lose interest.
Can you hear me?
Like having like a goal in mind, like I want to solve this problem, I want to do this, I want to create that, like that kind of thing is a really good motivator. So like even though things are tedious and things are hard, you still want to push through because you have that clear goal in mind. And that's the end of my answer.
Mm-hmm.
And Jeremy, did sounds like you can hear me again. Then, and so
Yeah.
do you have
Apologies, I had to
tips
step out for a second.
yourself as well for the journey you've been on?
Yeah, so we started the company in 2016. We started off with the vision of, let's make VR arcade games, because that's the experience we want to experience ourselves as players. That's the experience we want to give to other people. Welcome, Isaiah.
Hello.
And
Oh,
we've done a lot of pivots. We've done VR arcade games. We've opened our own VR arcade. We've done in-home games. Ryori being sort of the longest lasting in-home game that we've done, and we've done enterprise applications. The story for Ryori specifically, we started that in 2017 just as a passion project, and I'm sure we'll sort of get into it, sort of the life and the hardships of an indie dev. It's not, developing on any game. You don't always have, money or an investment. You don't always have money coming in immediately when you release it on early access. Ryori is a good example of, we wanted to make sure at this point we've already developed like maybe 10 titles already. We want to make sure we give Ryori enough time for development and produce at a quality. So we had other parts of our business funding, the development of Ryori. We'd spent maybe like an hour a week on Ryori, and since, for about 2 years. And then 2019, we released on an early access, and we've been developing a huge community and fans and players doing PvPs on Saturdays and playing on the tournaments, and like the tournament on and tomorrow as well at 2 p.m. Pacific. So that's sort of been how our journey for Ryori has been.
Hey, Isaiah,
And
welcome
just
to
a quick reminder, if you're on stage, can you mute if there's some background noise, if you're typing or things like that? Thank you.
Yeah, I don't think I'm not doing anything else, so that's not coming from me. um, Isaiah, I wonder what kind of platforms you guys are targeting and why with your VR title.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Yeah, we're working on our game Typo Trauma, which teaches people what to do when those around them are angry, depressed, or dealing with anxiety. So with this platform, it's 3D, but we're actually trying to develop it for the Nintendo Switch because we're working with a really cutesy art style. And other than that, we're working with Steam because PC is one of the easiest platforms to develop for.
Do you have a VR element to it as well, or?
Not at the moment. It's 3D, so we can easily import some VR controls, but it's not priority right now.
Okay. And Michael, what kind of platforms are you targeting?
Yeah, so we're on just using Steam VR at this point. So all PC-based VR because it's so easy to get started with that. And we have put the game demo up on Steam, and now I'm in the process of working towards getting things running on the Quest because that's such a popular platform, of course. And it's pretty easy to get on the Quest as long as two things is the main thing is that your code has to be optimized enough. So I've spent some time doing that. And I actually have a couple interns working with me right now, and they're rewriting some of the VR wrappers to get onto the Quest because you have to use a different SDK. So it's not a lot of work. Eventually, we'd like to be on PSVR, but that's a whole nother ball game because you have to get approved by Sony and go through many more hoops to get that working. So that's in the future.
Okay.
Are you going on a side quest or applying to Oculus's Quest Store?
Yeah, at first we'll just be on the side quest, but when we're
Nice.
release and try to go commercial with it, yeah, we'll try to get on the Oculus Store for sure.
Very cool.
What's the distinction there as far as what you can do?
Oh, well, the Oculus Store, that's the official store that Oculus runs when you put the Quest headset on or in your Rift and you see the storefront in there. That's all run by Oculus, and you have to apply for that and meet certain functional standards and be approved for it. And then SideQuest is a third-party project that has blossomed as a platform for side-loading games onto the Quest or onto the Rift as well. But primarily, it started us off with the Quest so that you don't have to go through the Oculus Store application process and to be able to run your app and run other people's apps on your Quest.
Jeremy, how about you? What platforms are you targeting and why?
Yeah, so generally, because the VR market is so small, we try to target as many platforms as we can. So very, very similar to Michael's. Every major Steam VR platform, your Vive, your also Rift on there, Windows Mixed Reality, Valve Index, and also the Oculuses, the Oculus Quests, and Quest 2. We just got a Quest 2, very exciting, 2 days ago. And we also make sure to have a PC mode, and especially like with something like this conference, we have a PC, a Windows and Mac. On the Ryori game itself, that one's more targeting towards like niche hardcore players. So for that one, we just target the main Steam VR platforms, and we have a secret PC mode that you can unlock to play with your friends.
So what's the hardest thing you have to do right now? And start that with Jeremy.
Gosh, the hardest thing. So our game is a multiplayer game. A lot of what our team does is multiplayer. We believe that the true strength of VR comes in social interactions and playing games and having experiences with you and your friends or strangers that who you make friends with. And the biggest challenge in trying to target multiplayer is just getting like people online. One of the best strategies that we've found that helped us tackle that is events. So we could hold like a PvP event, we could hold a tournament, and that gets a bunch of people online. They have a great experience, and then afterwards we sort of just redo that and do that again. It's a multiplayer. Getting people online, yeah, is probably the biggest challenge for VR multiplayer game devs.
And Michael, what would you say your biggest challenge is?
My biggest challenge is really marketing and outreach. I can do the software development. It takes some time, and I've actually got a couple interns, like I mentioned, helping with software development now. But marketing is just not my forte. And we were doing a number of events and expos before COVID, which is a great way to get out, get feedback from players, find out where some bugs or things need to be fixed, get ideas, get people on the email list and so on, and find alpha testers. But now that's been shut down, so it's harder to do VR events. I've participated in a couple of gaming events, like one of the Steam events over the summer, but VR doesn't have the same following in these online events because it's
Sorry,
I don't know
one
why
moment.
exactly.
I think somebody's speaking over the panel, and I'm not sure who it is. I hear somebody's conversation going. So I'm not sure who that might be, but just beware.
Yeah, appreciate it if you all mute the mics. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. And Isaiah, how about you? Challenges? What's the thing you have to?
Well, one of our biggest challenges, I'd say I'd have a pretty skilled team. Team building's never really been one of my weaknesses. We have a pretty decent business plan. I'd say one of our biggest weaknesses is just the fact that we need to find funding from a trustworthy source. We're looking at different investors, but like they always come with their string attached. Like a good business accelerator called Techstars looks really amazing, is really amazing. I have a friend who went in there, but they force you to take 6% equity for $20,000, which is a terrible deal. Then they'll give you pro rata rights. So it's like, okay, we'll give you convertible notes, meaning like when you hit certain milestones, we'll add 100,000 to your 20,000. But every time you open up a new fundraising round, we can add more money to it, whether you like it or not, which means we could take more equity. So it's like, oh, bam, that 6% just turned into 15%. And next thing you know, they own your entire company. They don't usually do things like that, but there's nothing in writing saying they can't. So we just have to be mindful of how we want to fundraise. And we could do something as simple as a Kickstarter or Indiegogo. That's actually our plan. In terms of team building, I definitely recommend finding a marketer or a community manager on your team. But yeah, we're sort of navigating the fundraising space.
So
Can I ask you about the? Can I ask
yeah.
Isaiah something about the fundraising?
Yes, please.
So I'm Techstars. I remember looking at them. I'm curious that they've been interested in talking to you about a video game. Do you think it's the educational aspect that got them interested, or what do you think got them interested?
Definitely. With us, we work on diversity in games, but much more than that, we try to represent social issues through our games. Like in this case, helping people learn how to navigate emotional intelligence and mental health. So our game has, well, it's a video game. Everybody loves games. I can't tell you how many grants I've gotten just because we're a video game. Aside from that, our game's touching upon a bit of diversity, like say kids who want to see characters from main characters from different backgrounds. We are touching upon education, and we are touching upon the mental health industry a bit. So it's kind of like we have these different customer segments which makes our game look a little more attractive to funders.
Yeah. Thanks.
So maybe whoever wants to step forward on this question can do so. But what are your business expectations for, like, how well your game will do? Like, what can you expect as sort of a real?
I could jump on that one first. So for a game like Ryori, it's a huge passion project of ours. We've grown up as kids watching Yu-Gi-Oh, the anime and card game, and just as kids wanting to make that into real life. And so really a passion-driven team, and that's really the reason why we're doing it, and not too much the money, although the money will help expand development, accelerate development. But in terms of, sorry, could you re-ask your question again? Make sure
I
I
guess
target that.
expectation, like, I don't know how you look at that. Like, you expect to sell 10,000 or 100,000, or
Yeah.
what's your
Yeah, no, good question. We had sort of tested the market a little bit with a few other games before the Ryori game, and what we found is unless you're like in top 10, there's not really a way for you to sustain your studio to continue developing. And really, even the games that do well, the most sustainable business model is really to have maybe 1, 2, maybe 3 people on the team. But it can't sustain too many more people from that. For our game, and sort of what we've been learning watching other successful games sort of explode. There's a sort of also a virality factor. People will spend money on your game, purchasing things or purchasing your game or supporting it if they love it. There's a lot of people there. There's a huge community. It goes viral, and part of it is sort of just the luck with the YouTubers and the streamers, and then also is your game sort of at a level where it is really fun to watch, is really fun for producing content in as a YouTuber or streamer. So those are sort of the things that we look at. Is our game ready for that? And if it is, then there's a chance that it could explode. But yeah, I don't know if that helped answer that one.
Anybody else want to tackle that one as well?
Yeah, sure. I would say, it can be hard to know. The gaming industry, like they say, is a hits business, hits industry, and there's great potential. I was working on this project almost 3 years ago, and I was doing a little bit more of like an academic. Actually started as a full-on passion project, as an visual music art sculpture project, and we made the gaming, the first couple of people working on the prototype, and I made the game out of it because it was a little more. It was a different experience, and making a game is sort of immediately fun. And then I was working on it in more academic sense, and then I saw how Beat Saber did really well right off the bat, and I realized, hey, there's a market for this now. So I thought, well, let me focus on getting the game part of it really together, and it's taken much longer than I hoped, of course, but that's what happens when you're working on these things in your spare time. And so we've seen, for the genre I'm in, there's a huge potential, like a game like Beat Saber's done so well, but that's the hit, right? There are a number of other rhythm games that some of them are doing okay, a number of them just disappeared. So you really have to take your chances, go in and focus on something that makes your game stand out, and whatever you can do to build a community and have it something that's community based. So we're putting in I have a level editor, for example, that's right in the game. You don't have to do a beat matching, a beat mapping app or anything. You're in the game. You're just dancing and moving. And as you're doing that, you're making these levels for other people to play. We're working on a website to share that. So we want to try to make it frictionless for people to make their own content and share it. And because that's some of the feedback we've got at events, like, oh, I want to make my own levels to my own song. So we've been working on those features in that. And that's something that can help a game, even if it doesn't blast out of the gate at full speed when you first release it. If you have something that a community can form around, it can be really important for sustaining it and helping it grow over time, because it doesn't happen as often, but some games do well just over time, slowly growing, understanding their community and nurturing their community with features and ways for the community to enjoy the game together.
And here's one. I guess I wonder what kind of people you're looking to connect with right away, now from anywhere in the industry.
I think you cut out there. Are you asking me or Isaiah?
Let's start with Isaiah on this one.
Okay.
Did you hear that, Isaiah?
Not at all. What was the question?
Sorry. So what kind of people are you looking to connect with? If there are people who are going to be useful for you right now?
Oh, that's a good one. That is a really good one. In terms of our customer segments, we're specifically, well, when I say specifically, it's kind of like, okay, these are the people we're trying to cater to, but ultimately, as a video game, it's going to extend to a bunch of different segments. So, we're looking into low income communities, LGBTQ communities, and some mental health communities. The thing with diversity is kind of like, oh yeah, disabled, LGBTQ, there's a lot of people we can reach out to. And it goes a bit into the opportunity bit as well. It would be really nice to partner with some companies around health or mental health. I was actually just reading a few weeks ago about this company called a video game called Mightier. It was to help lower anxiety in kids, and the company actually did a good job in partnering with Boston's Children's Hospital. I forget what exactly they did, but it was like, okay, we partnered with the hospital, we got our game in the hands of students, and actually tested the results, like the effects that was happening. Which goes back to your last question. I don't have the numbers yet, so it's hard to say like what I expect in terms of how many people I want to affect, but I'm really excited for being able to test our game and see if people are actually learning how to interact with others.
All right. Anybody else? Jeremy, you want to tackle that one?
Yeah, so for us, really just people who can see the game and go, oh, that looks interesting, or like people who play the game and they love it. We're just looking for a warm community who enjoys, who's passionate about the game. For us, we believe that's where growing of the community and that's where the word of mouth spreading starts. And we have a tournament tomorrow, so if you're interested in participating in the tournament, like those are the people that we're looking to connect with. And if you want to stream it on Twitch, if you want to make YouTube videos out of it, those are the, just people who are passionate about the game and who want to give it a try.
And Michael, any thought on that?
Yeah,
as
well, sure. In terms of audience, people who like rhythm games and love music and dance, our game is very flowing and melodic based. There's a lot of movement, sort of, we call it a rhythm and flow game rather than just a rhythm game. And people who like to make their own content and share it, these are the kind of people we're looking for. We have we've started an alpha with a few people testing it. And in the business side, yeah, we're looking for investors. And then I'm also looking at the health sector too, like Isaiah was mentioning. There can be really interesting opportunities for grant funding in the health sector, either from foundations or from the federal government. And they can, oftentimes, if your app, like for me, I have applications in the health sector that I learned about through people trying the game at expos. And they told me, oh, I want to use this for movement therapy. I want to use it for education, for music education. And so I've been exploring that recently and networking there. And it's really interesting because most of the software development I want to do applies to both gaming and sort of healthcare education segments. So it could be really interesting to get something on the research project to prove some kind of healthcare application and then use that as well to grow the game at the same time.
Very good. Jeremy, do you want to take over for Q&A? I forgot I gotta go to a staff meeting.
Yeah, no worries. I think we're ready to move on to the next panel. But if folks want to talk with Isaiah or Michael or anybody who's speaking, they also have booths outside, and we can head over to the networking area for more networking. But yeah,
where's the networking area?
Just upstairs, yeah, in the lobby, or you could head over to
top
to your
there?
booth.
Okay, yeah, actually, I'm going to head over to my booth. I have a booth for Groovecatcher. I'll just head over there, and if anyone wants to chat.
Enjoyed the chat, so thank you very much, everybody.
Yeah, thank you, Dean.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.